What is going on, YouTube and Spotify? This is the Just BSing podcast. And my friends, we have some pretty exciting things to discuss this evening because a lot has happened in the NBA world. And as you can see by the title, we are going to get into that in just a hot minute. But the Cavs, they decided to make some moves. They listened to not only us, but I think a lot of people that were saying, hey, you guys cannot stay pat. You have to make a move, and it may require getting rid of one of the core four. However, one of the core four that wound up getting traded was not a Jared Allen. It wasn't an Evan Mobley. It was Darius Garland being traded to the LA Clippers for James Harden, a.k.a. the Beard, you guys. We have been just absolutely we have always talked crap about Harden because of how big of a foul merchant he is. He's up there with Shea in his ability to get to the free throw line. And now he is a Cleveland Cavalier. Dude, I know there was a lot of mixed feelings, especially when everything first started, like the rumors first started. I believe that was like, Tuesday is when we started hearing this. And we're like, things seem like they're kind of heating up. And like, based on what Brian Windhorst was saying, it's like, hey, Garland is getting into his head that he is going to be a Clipper, and Harden is getting into his head that he is going to be a Cav. And we're like, okay, well, until it happens, I'm not really going to believe it. And then it happened late Tuesday night, I think. The Cavaliers finally made the move, and they acquired James Harden. They also gave up a second round pick as well. In the process, which I thought was kind of goofy because I thought it would be kind of the other way around considering Harden's 36, but Harden's averaging 26 points and 8 assists a night at this current moment, even at 36 years old. So he's still balling. He's still playing really, really well. And you're moving on from Darius after 7 years here. He's been sort of like that first superstar that we got post LeBron era. And it was bittersweet. It was pretty sad for a lot of people, and we'll talk a lot more about this. This is going to be the main part of this episode, guys, but this was not a bad move by the Cavs, and it also wasn't the only move that the Cavs made, which we'll get into here in a minute. But Drew, just give me your first thoughts, after the news hit. What was you thinking after everything went down? I mean, it was a wild, I would say 8-hour period of just okay, is this going to happen? Will this happen? What is going to happen when it does happen? What's going to be the reaction? What's exactly that reaction on X? Everybody was freaking out. So what was your thoughts when it went down?
I mean, yeah, the at least my reaction, like you said, it was the middle of the workday on Tuesday, and I see the first news from Wendy and a couple other people and Shams. And I'm like, oh, wow, the Cavs are interested in James Harden for Garland. I was like, I mean, I thought about it. The first thing I thought into my head was, why? And then as the day kept going on, and like you said, the Darius and Harden were getting into their minds that they're going to be swapping teams. In my head, I was like, okay, first and foremost, even 2-3 hours before the trade happened, I was like, okay, this is more than likely going to happen, because if they're in their heads that they're going to be on the opposite teams, this is going to happen at some point tonight. And the more I sat on it throughout the rest of that on Tuesday, the more I sat there, I was like, in my head, I'm like, the tangibles, it's not that bad, because sitting there thinking about what's been going on with Darius, like I said, or like we said, we love Darius Garland to death. He's one of the first superstars we had post LeBron, before we even got Donovan Mitchell. And it's just one of those feelings where it's yeah, it's bittersweet that he's gone. And obviously I think he's going to have a very good welcome home whenever he plays against the Cavs in Cleveland again. And they're going to do the whole videos and stuff like that. But this was a move that had to be made, because in a sense, I know a lot of people were so frustrated, and a lot of those fake fan accounts were upset too, those hoodie Garlands and
yeah,
all those account. I get it. It's frustrating because the city fell in love with Darius Garland, especially after the 2022 All-Star weekend. We sat there and thought, oh my God, Mobley, Allen, and because Mobley was a rookie at that time, I believe. And everyone's sitting there like, oh my God, Allen, Mobley, and Garland, this three is going to be crazy. Then later that season or the year after, that's when we got obviously Donovan Mitchell into the roster.
Yeah.
It became a massive four. But this had to happen just for the fact that we talked about this and, we've had discussions with other people about it. It's just the fact that Garland's injuries have slowed him down a lot. They've hindered him. They stopped him from playing quite a bit in the last 2 years. And it's never a knock on Garland because that doesn't mean he's not a fantastic player. The Clippers, I still think, get a phenomenal player. It's just the fact that the one thing you learn being an athlete is the best ability is availability.
That was the first thing running through my head. Is that
Yeah.
exact quote.
That's the best abilities to have being available. And if you're never around or available, I mean, look at Max Strus. If you're never available or never around, there's no impact. They're like, people starting in their head, like, why do we even have this person if they can't even play? And he hurt his toe last year. Then this year he hurt the opposite toe, and it's the same injury. Toe injuries are very difficult to come back from, especially when you're running and jumping and playing a game like basketball. So this to me, the Cavs probably thought in their heads too, like, we don't know how long he's going to be healthy for the rest of his career, if he's even ever going to be healthy. Obviously, he's not going to be 100% anymore, but it's just, I think they're counting in their head, how much game time is he going to get a year at this point? Is he going to play even half a season? There's 82 games. You play, if he can't play 41 games at this point, why even keep him around? He's only played 24, 25 games this season, and he's back injured again. So it's a wonder. And he played only like 60 games last season. So he's playing less and less games. And the Cavs are probably sitting there like, we don't even know if next year he's even going to be playing half a season. And why even take that gamble when you could get a 36-year-old? Yeah, he's Harden's 36, but he's durable. He's a guy who doesn't get injured a ton, and even at 36, this is the best season that Harden's had in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So you're getting a good James Harden on this roster, and you're showing Donovan Mitchell, who you have to re-sign next year, by the way, after the next season, saying like, hey, look, we're willing to win. We're willing to trade assets to get you a title or to at least get you to the finals more consistently and having a chance to win. So we're going to go out there. We're going to try and get James Harden. We're going to try and go out there and get you a Giannis Antetokounmpo, which could still very much happen in the summertime.
Yeah.
You still have opportunities to get big name stars to come in here and compete for a championship. And guess what? I don't know if we even talked about this yet, but it's not like the other East teams have done anything in this at all. The only big move that EC made were the Pacers getting Ivica Zubac from the Clippers.
Yeah, that's just not going to do anything, at least for this year.
Yeah, because they're not going to make the playoffs. So So basically, the Cavs are the only team that made a massive move in the trade deadline. So the Cavs got better while the East kind of got either stayed the same or got a little weaker. So now the Cavs have a better shot in the East this year because guess what? We can handle the Pistons. We've always had the Pistons number no matter how good they've been. Always. It's just, can you get past the Boston Celtics?
Yeah.
And they still don't have Jason Tatum. And he still might not even be back for the rest of the season or even the postseason.
And I would even say, can you get past the Knicks? Because we've always had some weird juju with them.
Yeah.
More recently, I think we've been better. But the Knicks have also been like super inconsistent, even with their stacked, lineup that they have, at least in the front court. Like, they should not be struggling as much as they have as of recent. And the Cavs are finally starting to get some hot, it's just some hot play. Like, I think they saw how things were going without Darius, and they said, you know what? I think we can afford to move on from him because the team is playing well. And, dude, I'm going to tell you what, again, Harden is averaging 26 points and 8 assists a night this year. And his ability as a passer is going to be something that you guys need to look into and understand more. This guy is a phenomenal passer, more specifically to his big guys. Every big guy that has ever played with James Harden has eaten. Clint Capella made his money because of James Harden when he was in Houston. Okay. The guy that just got traded to the Pacers, who was on the Clippers.
Yeah.
He ate because of James Harden. Guys eat. The big guys eat when James Harden plays.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me that Jared Allen and Mobley aren't going to love having to play with him. He could average 10 assists a night on this Cavs team because he's got way more people to go to. And he doesn't have to necessarily overtake a game, but he has that ability. So then it takes a ton of weight off of Donovan, where Donovan could play off the ball a little bit more and play more of his game. And guys, like these guys can go back and forth and play off each other. Harden is phenomenal off the pick and roll. Kenny loves going off the pick and roll, and he's going to at least be able to defend a little bit better. I know Harden isn't really known for his defense, but even at 6'5", he is at least beefy enough to take on contact and still be able to make plays on the defensive end. So I do not think that this trade was a bad trade. I saw Bleacher Report gave us a D+. And I was like, dude, that's just so damn disrespectful. I mean, the true hate and then love for Garland, or for Garland. I loved Garland too. But again, as you said, the best ability is availability. And when you're not playing, especially in key moments, like we hobbled into the second round and then got blown out by a Pacers team that was playing electric at that time, where you could have needed a guy like Garland and at least his scoring ability in order to win some games. I mean, dude, you saw how beat up Donovan was last year. Do you really want that for a third year in a row? Because that's what we were going to go down. Okay. The fact of the matter is, again, as good as Garland is and as good as Garland has been for us, it was time. And I'll say one more thing about Darius. He was a defensive liability. And I mean really badly. Like when you look at the statistics, teams bullied him. Teams attacked him on a nightly basis because they knew he couldn't defend against the pick and roll, and he was 6'1" and could not do anything against anybody. At least Donovan can kind of defend because he's got a little more meat on his bones. He's a little more physical. Like he knows how to take contact. Garland, man. I mean, first it was his jaw. Now it's the toes. This guy only played, but was it like 10 games in college before he got hurt? So he came into the league hurt. He came into the league already injury prone. It was a gamble. The Cavs took it. And look, he gave us 7 good years. But at 26, I feel okay starting to move on from him, because the guys that we got in this, not only in this trade, but the other trade, we got Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis in exchange for trading away DeAndre Hunter, which saved us about $20 million, by the way. And the other side of this too, after all of the trades that the Cavs made, we've saved ourselves about like $85 million over the next year, just based off of Garland. He had like $120 million contract.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter, again, was owed $20 million for next year, and I think Lonzo was owed $10 million.
Yep.
So you freed up a lot of space. You're still not quite under the apron, but you were like $3 million away from getting underneath the apron. So, like, the Cavs are in a better spot now as well, in general, over this. And we saw how Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis played last night. We beat the Clippers by 30 points last night. Harden didn't even get to play. He's not playing until Saturday. I mean, the Clippers only really had Kawhi. Last night there wasn't really anybody to really play for them, but they beat the brakes off of them from the jump too. Like we started out pretty hot, early, and it just kept going and going and going. This team is playing with a lot better pace, and I think Harden I'm excited to see what Harden can do with Mobley. I think I think Harden can be the guy that actually unlocks Mobley for us. We kept saying that, Mobley had a great repertoire with Garland and like he played well off him, which he did. But I don't think we've seen anything in comparison to the things that Harden can help Mobley do. Mobley should not take any sort of outside shots. He should be near the rim at all times. And it's going to be unique. It's going to be fun. Like you're probably only going to see Donovan and Harden on the court for maybe like 15 to 20 minutes out of the entire game. Atkinson is going to do a great job of stacking those minutes to where if it's not Harden, it's Donovan on the floor, like especially throughout the game. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be better for this team to have always some sort of top-notch scorer on the floor at all times. Whether it's Donovan or whether it's Harden, they're both going to be able to get theirs, and they're still going to be able to play off each other and play within the system. And Kenny has had Harden before. He had him in Brooklyn, so he at least knows him. He's at least familiar with him. I'm excited for it. Like I don't think this trade was as bad of a trade as people are saying it is. I really don't.
No, I don't either. Like, people are freaking out. I think the people who freak out always have this like attachment to players. It's the same that we saw like the Josh Naylor and Andres Jimenez trade where people freaked out, and it's like, okay, we get it. You're attached to these players, and then you don't want them to leave. But it's like when they're playing bad, you have to get them the hell out. Like, you can't just keep bad players forever. That's why you stay bad. But I'm not saying Garland's bad. I'm just saying, like, I'd rather have a guy who's healthy than a guy who's consistently injured and who isn't doing much. Yeah. So, like, to me, this is a good trade. We get a guy who can average 26 a game, again, with 9 assists, which is perfect. Helps out big men, which means Mobley and Allen are going to get a lot of help. And Allen, who's been playing really good ball as of late, could definitely benefit from this. And then there's moves you can make in the offseason to make you a title contender. Yeah. And get under the second apron. So the Cavs I think, are in a great spot. I think they have a good chance to get out of the East this year. Especially now. Yeah, especially now. I get it. People have worries of Harden's playoff woes. Mind you, Harden did lead a Houston Rockets team to Game 7 against Golden State Western Conference Finals by himself. And I think they lost. They didn't lose by much either in that game. Like, we could have, and that was in 2017, which we could have faced. Yep. And I wanted to face the Rockets over the Warriors at that time because that was Kevin Durant Warriors too. So
they lost because CP3 went down in Game 5 or so up then, and Harden just couldn't do it himself. It was too much.
Yeah, so I don't get why people are blaming really Harden for that, because like he was cooking that whole playoff series, mind you. But it just one. It's like, again, like the 2015 Cavs, just one injury tanked the whole season, where the Cavs lost Kevin Love and Kyrie, and we lost the finals. But my whole point is the fact that James Harden definitely boosts this team and definitely lifts this team higher than what they were. Again, you still have a core 4. It's just minus Darius Garland, and you added a guy who can consistently average almost 30 a game and 10 assists, who's also on an expiring deal. So if you can get him off, hey, more power to the Cavs for getting him off. And if you get to the finals, hey, you get to the finals. If not, I think as of right now, I think Mitchell's just more worried about getting past the second round. I don't 100%. I don't think he cares about losing in the Eastern Conference Finals or missing or making the finals, because if he just sees progress, I think that's what keeps him around. It's like, hey, look, we made it to the Eastern Conference and we were 1 game shy or something. Like this team has what it takes. We just need one more lift, and it's done. But the Cavs showed that there's no time to waste, because you take advantage while a team like Boston's weakened with no Jason Tatum. You take advantage of a Knicks team that's struggling as of right now. You take advantage of these weakened teams in the East this year, and you say, listen, put our foot down, and now we got tougher. We got tougher guys. We got guys who are actually willing to play. The Cavs look so much better. Their defense looked a lot better last night.
Oh, it looked so much quicker too. Like the pace was just unreal.
And that's what you got when you brought in Schroeder and you brought in Keon Ellis. You know, they played quickly, and Schroeder even in his interview said, like, I love how quickly the Cavs play. It fits my style of basketball. The way we move back and forth on the defensive side to the offensive side is great. We had a lot more steals than we usually get.
They had a lot of steals last night.
A lot.
I'm pretty sure the Clippers had like over 20
turnovers.
So if I'm not mistaken,
the Clippers had like 20. The Clippers had something like 20 turnovers. But I mean, the Cavs were just wreaking havoc all over the place. And I think we out-rebounded the crap out of them too, if I remember right.
We had 44 rebounds. They had 37.
Okay.
And then we had 9 turnovers. They had 20. So, I mean, you just want to talk about the overall pace. We still shot 39% at 3. They shot 21. So we defended really, really well. And we shot the ball for 51% from the field entirely. There were a lot of guys that did contribute. The bench was pretty evenly scored. But like Schroeder had 11 in his first game. I mean, he didn't really. I mean, he also had 6 assists. I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
No.
I mean, it was just an overall really, really solid job. Jared Allen had another double-double. That's really good. Donovan had 9 assists last night. You're not really going to need him to do that now with Harden in the lineup, but again, he's still going to get 4 to 6 every night anyway.
Yeah, and Tyson was almost perfect last night. He only missed.
He's almost perfect every night, man. This dude's awesome.
He was 7 of 10 from the 7 of 10 field goal. So he had 70% field goal percentage, and he was 3 for 3 on threes.
Yeah,
didn't miss a single 3. Only missed 3 shots total, and I think 2 of them were layups. Like, I mean, this kid, and both of those layups that he missed were fouls too. So he went to the line. But he missed an acrobatic layup, which, okay, I get it counts as a miss. But if he made that, he would have been 10 for 10. He would have been 10 for 10, 3 for 3. Like, this kid would have been incredible. I mean, this kid's incredible. And I think he only gets better when Harden starts playing.
Yeah, he definitely will, because he's going to get even more open looks.
Yeah.
I mean, and Donovan will too. I mean, Donovan's going to be able to play off him in the beginning and the end of games, or it's going to be interesting. It's going to be so much fun to watch.
I'm excited for Saturday night just to see what happens, because I want to watch this offense just move. And I'm sure Harden's going to love an offense that moves the ball very well instead of and not play super slow, because I know a lot of teams he's been on, like the Rockets and the Thunder and the Clippers. They play like a slow tempo offense, like slowly bring it up the court. Whatever. The Cavs are like, we're driving this bitch down as fast as possible.
But that's also because he hasn't had a lot of guys really play
off of him.
You look at his team when he was with the Sixers. Okay, sure, he had Embiid, they had Tobias and whoever else they had. But when you really look at it, you really look at that team, they had so many struggles, they had so many injuries. I think there was one point where it was basically just James Harden playing. Like, it was tough.
Yeah.
And even in Brooklyn, like, Kyrie would be hurt, or KD would have been hurt. With Houston, like, that was probably his best year.
And they just didn't mesh well in Brooklyn because there's just too many ball dominant guys. Because it was Durant, Kyrie, and Harden, and they all wanted to score 30 points apiece, and not all of them could. So. And neither one of them wanted to lay off, so they just didn't mesh well. I mean, Durant obviously and Harden meshed well together because they played together in OKC. So, of course, they were going to mesh well together. It's just a matter of can Kyrie mesh, and I think Jared Allen was on the team as well.
He was traded in the Harden.
That's trade. Right. He was traded. He was in the Harden trade to us. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. So, and this was one of the things that I was going to say too. Each team that he's had to go to, or each team that he's been traded to, the roster had to be gutted in order for him to get traded there.
This time it doesn't.
This time it doesn't. like, sure, you lost Darius, but you gained another point guard. You got a better backup point guard, and
And
you
fucking
also
Lonzo.
still have Craig Porter Jr., who's playing really good minutes still.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The one thing I like about Porter Jr. too is he's a guy who doesn't score points, but he gets like 8 rebounds and like 7 assists.
Yeah,
Just like the other night he scored like 0 points, but he had like, or it's like a few nights ago he had 0 points, but he had like 2 points, but had like 7 rebounds and 7 assists or something. I was like, that's all you need him to do. You don't need him to score buckets. Like he doesn't take shots when he does, and that's what the one thing I hate about Lonzo is he just took unnecessary shots. And I'm like, dude, why are you taking these shots? And I was like, we just play defense and just move the ball around. That's what Porter does so well. He just moves the ball and he fights for rebounds.
dude, it wasn't even his shots that he would take. He would do like the Ben Simmons type of shit where he would like go to shoot the ball, and instead he would try to pass it down low and do something like
Yeah,
really quick and fast, and it would be a turnover. And you're like, dude, I would rather you just take the shot
just
and
miss the
miss it.
shot. Yeah,
But
let
like,
Alec get a chance for a rebound or something.
so like, dude, I'm glad we got to dump him off. But again, I do think we also have to talk a little bit more about the Dennis Schroeder and Keon
Yeah,
Ellis
for
trade
sure.
as well. So, obviously you get rid of Hunter, which is, to some people, it was a big loss. To those that watch the games every night, you saw how inconsistent he was. He was horrible in transition defense, like some of the worst ever. I don't know what his deal was this year, because he played phenomenally last year for us. This year, it was just a different team. It was a different game for him. He just looked lost. He looked like he didn't really want to be there. Um, and I feel bad that he kind of got dumped to the Kings because the Kings are going to be a crappy team. But you move on from him, and you get a quality veteran backup point guard in Dennis Schroeder, who has been around, around the league. He's been on a ton of teams. This is like his 8th or 9th team since like 2015. But he has always been a tough guard. He has always been pretty consistent over the course of his career. And I think it was something that you said earlier that I want to make note of too. The Cavs got tougher, and when you bring in a guy like Schroeder, he is opinionated, he's strong-willed, and he's also just a very scrappy type of player. And those are the kind of guys that you want on your team come playoff time. Those guys matter. Like, those guys play key moments and key roles in your playoff success. Garland, man, when he would play, he was just never quite as physical and never quite as intense as he would be in the regular season. It was so confusing. Like, you never understood why. I just think Harden will take a lot of the load off, where you can count on him to just consistently go out and be able to put up 25 points or 35 points in a night. I mean, shit, he has the ability to score 50, like he literally has the ability to do all of that. So, for us to bring in a guy like him, a guy like Schroeder, and then Keon Ellis, he's 26 years old. He's about 6'5". But he is an amazing one-on-one defender. He plays great in space. He is very good at grabbing balls as it's being passed. Like, he's just beautiful when it comes to the defensive end. He's super athletic, plays within the offense. He's not really going to score a whole lot, but he has the ability to, make a three here, here, there. And he's going to play 20 minutes in a game, but it's going to be quality minutes. And that when he comes in, he's going to be able to defend when guys like, Donovan and Harden and all those guys aren't in. You at least have quality guys that are going to defend and be able to score a little bit when those guys are out. But again, as I said before, they're going to sort of stagger their minutes. So Donovan and Harden are always going to be on the floor at some point. And it may not always be together, but it just gives the Cavs more flexibility, and it gives them at least someone to always rely on scoring-wise, and also to bring the ball up and hey, this guy can control the game. He can control the pick and roll, which we know Harden does super, super, super well. Yeah. I'm excited to see what he does with the big guys. That is my biggest take from him, and the biggest reason why I feel so good about this trade. I know he's 36 years old, guys, but I'm telling you, James Harden is gonna make this team functional. And guess what? If he goes into the playoffs with us, and let's say he has some bad games, he still can have 15 assists and score, 10 points, 15 points. Guess what? Donovan's going to score 40. But at least he's going to have help. At least he's going to have a guy that's going to be able to take some of the load off on defense and on offense. Be able to at least help this team out a little bit, because even when Garland was on the floor, like, he had a lot of moments where he was just non-existent, just couldn't do anything for us. The thing that used to really like infuriate me with Garland is he would almost try to play too fast, and he would end up turning the ball over because he's trying to be too quick and twitchy, and it just never worked. And I was like, Garland, you gotta freaking slow down, man. Like, please slow down. And you could just see him getting rattled. And he's had some good moments, but he's had so many more bad moments. And again, when you're not able to play, that it's just the name of the game, man. And it's a business. It's a tough business. I know those guys are going to be friends, for years and years and years beyond the game, and that's great. But for right now, the Cavs are in win now mode, and I do not blame them at all for going after James Harden. I'm not mad at them for going after James Harden, and I'm not mad for them even trying to go after Giannis. I mean, they were in it until pretty much the very end, and then it just seemed like Milwaukee really wanted a lot for him, as they should. I mean, it's Giannis, and the Cavs are just like, I don't think we want to move on from Mobley, because that's probably what it would have taken. It would have probably taken Mobley, Strus, and a couple first-round picks. Like, you would have had to have a third team come in and help you with some picks. But just is what it is, man. The Cavs did enough to get better. So a D+ for the Harden trade is just, I couldn't believe when I saw that. But of course, it was from the Bleacher Report. So I was like, that doesn't even really matter. Screw them.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this plays out. Going with the Schroeder and Keon Ellis stuff, I mean, like, Hunter had to go, like you said. He just wasn't panning out like we wanted him to last year. Like, last year when he came in, he was doing quite well, but then he kind of just fell off this year. But again, you get a young 3-and-D wing in Keon Ellis who could be really good for you, especially on that defensive side of the ball. You have Dennis Schroeder, who's just that veteran, man. I mean, he's just a good vet, and he's averaging still like 15, 16 points a game. He comes in, fills in for Lonzo Ball absolutely perfectly. I mean, he gets 11 last night. So I think overall basis, I think the Cavs did very well. I don't care what the dude on The Athletic had to say about, or what his grades were, because he even gave us a C for dropping Lonzo Ball and giving the Jazz and the Hawks both an A or whatever in that trade, but we got a C for it for some reason. I think it had something to do with just unloading a second round pick, and that was it. But I don't think he really dove into the actual like trade itself. So I thought overall it was great moves for the Cavs. You almost get underneath that second apron, which is huge. You get a good quality point guard in James Harden. You get a good backup in Dennis Schroeder. You get a good 3-and-D wing in Keon Ellis. And I think you get better after this. I think you got better. And like I said earlier, you're in a weakened Eastern Conference. These moves make you better. You ain't got to worry about Giannis in the playoffs. You ain't got to worry about some of these other guys, because as of right now, Milwaukee, I don't even think it's going to make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
Or even the play-in. Same with Indianapolis, even though they got Ivica Zubac. Some of these teams that kind of gave you a hard time are not going to give you a hard time. Again, you have to worry. Sure, you have to worry about the Knicks. You got to worry about the Celtics. But when those come, They come. And you face them. I think the biggest test is going to. I think, did you say we play the Knicks soon? I know we play
Yeah, sometime this
OKC.
month. Yeah.
I know, but I just want to make sure when we play. Well, we
I
play
know
we play the Thunder. Oh, okay, we play the Thunder and the Knicks back to back. That's what it is.
yeah.
Because we play the OKC in OKC, then we turn around to play the Knicks in Cleveland. But for this trade, that those are two good games to have to watch to see how this trade really is. I am a little worried about the All-Star break kind of cutting into that,
Right.
but I also think it gives you just a nice break to settle down, get Harden acclimated into this team, get the other two guys acclimated into this team, get them some elongated practice, and hey, the test comes against OKC and the Knicks, and if you can win those games, I think the league starts to go, okay, I think the Cavs did the right thing. I think they made a good trade, and I think they did well. Now, if we had Giannis, oh my god, dude, it would have been game over. Like,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
the league would have been done. Like at that point, it's just game over, and we could still end up with them at the end of the summer,
Right.
and LeBron too, which is even crazier.
Yeah.
Like your starting lineup could be at that point James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, Giannis, LeBron, and Jalen Tyson.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, I think the Cavs at the end of the day got better, and I think they should be able to make a nice run in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, absolutely. They should. And you know what? Again, I think this just gives them a more fighting chance. I mean, I think just with the way the Cavs were at this current moment, even with the way they've been playing as a recent, all of the struggles that they had like earlier on, in this season, I think it just really worried a lot of us fans, and we're like, I don't even see us getting away from the first round with that current unit. And it was like, I think the Cavs knew that they had to make a change, and it was just a matter of who. And I think when Garland got hurt again, it kind of helped them like be like, okay, like we owe this kid a lot of money left, and we have no idea what he's going to look like beyond this year. Even at 26, you don't know what is going to happen, and it's just. I get it. Like, it's better off to move on from him, because you know what? You still have some good point guards. Like, even if you don't keep Harden beyond this season, you can still have Donovan run the point and still have guys like Schroeder and have guys like, Porter Jr. and even Corey Proctor has looked pretty freaking good too. Like in his minutes, Proctor has always been consistently fun, great. Tomlin has played some great minutes at his role. If Strus can just stay healthy for at least one full season, it would be nice. So the Cavs are not in a bad spot regardless, because if they really still want to, build around Mobley, they can. And guess what? If they decide that they don't want to build around Mobley and they want to make another big splash, they can do that and use Mobley in the process.
The one thing I do want to mention too is the Cavs are 8-2 in their last 10 games. But even before the Garland deal, the Cavs are second in the NBA and points per game with 119 points per game, just shy of OKC's 120.2. We're at 119.9 or something. So we're not that far away from being on pace with the only problem was we allowed 115.8.
Yeah.
So I think you'll see that number start going down. But as of right now, the Cavs are on a 2-game win streak. We're 8-2 in the last 10 games, which is the best in the NBA, tied with Pistons and the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
So at this moment, because the Knicks are on an 8-game win streak, and the Celtics are on a 4-game, and the Sixers are on a 5-game win streak. We're on a 2, but and Detroit's on a 3-game win streak. Jesus Christ. But yeah, you're still only, I think it's 2.5 games back of the Celtics and the Knicks of second place.
Mm-hmm.
All it takes is for them to slip up one time, and bang, like you're right in there. And as of right now, Detroit's actually getting their butts kicked by Washington in a third, which is a sight to see. But yeah, just looking at it, the Cavs were scoring 120 points per game. I think this keeps them in that realm, gets them a little bit higher. They're going to score a lot more now. I think their defense already looked 10 times better. I think they didn't even give the Clippers 90 points last night. So everything will work out. I think the people who are panicking need to chill out, slow their roll, and not over. Okay, they had 91, but still 91 to the Clippers isn't bad at all when you scored 125. So, I will say shout out to the Cavs organization for going to Donovan Mitchell and saying, "Hey, listen, we're gonna try and get you a winner here, so and keep you around for the rest of your career." So I appreciate the Cavs, and I'm sure some other fans like us, we're pretty happy about the move. I know some Cavs fans are bitter, but you know what? You can't change everyone's minds, and that's just how everything goes. I think you might be muted. I think you're muted. I think you're muted. Yeah, dude. No one can. I can't hear you. No, it's not working. I think did your mic go? Well, while we wait for Zach, we'll continue for the we'll continue the talk here. But yeah, like I said, you can't change everyone's minds because some people are always going to be fans of certain players. Like I mentioned earlier, you got people who were upset when we traded the likes of like Andres Jimenez and on Josh Naylor and stuff like that. So there's certain people who are just fans of certain players and just hate to see them go, and they just get too upset and whatnot. And it's hard to change some people's minds, and some of them will maybe get over it, some won't. But it's just a matter of did the organization do the right thing? And we both agree that the organization did the right thing here, and that they had to get rid of Darius Garland to get better. And it's just one of the things that just happened. So I think Kobe Altman did what he had to do. I think he tried to do more, especially trying to get rid of like Jared Allen or maybe even Max Strus, or combining both, or Mobley, trying to send him to Milwaukee. But again, we'll never know what happens. And then again, if you want Giannis, you could always try and go again in the offseason for him. But the Cavs get better. The Cavs looked good against the Clippers. We'll see what they can do on Saturday against the Sacramento Kings, especially Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis, who you took them away from. So they get to go back to Sacramento and play in front of their home fans, but in a different jersey. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens on Saturday. As we still wait for Zach to see if he can't get back into the mix here. I don't know if yeah, the microphone's not working. It was weird. How did it just cut out? I don't know how it's going. I wonder what happened to Zach's mic. Is there is there any settings on your computer that you had to change or something? Because it's just dead silent. Well, if you want to, we could quickly do our Super Bowl picks, and you could just, if you want to, you could probably type it in the chat while you're working on your mic or something. So that way, in case if your mic doesn't work or something, we could, or if you could quickly get it, because we're gonna do a Super Bowl predictions and see Super Bowl picks. Yeah, it's still working. Yeah. It's just so quiet. Yeah, you can't hear anything. I don't know what it is, but I can see the mic is on, but I don't hear anything coming out. That's so weird. Eh, I wonder I wonder if you try like maybe like leaving and coming back. I don't know. See if that works. But having a little bit of technical difficulties here. So hopefully he can get back in here in just a moment. But yeah, we're gonna do some Super Bowl predictions because it is Super Bowl Sunday. And while Zach is actually doing that, I'll just quickly do this too. Before the Super Bowl, guys, check out our sponsor, Effortless Wins, for sports betting advice in place to boost your wins. Talk to Tony or Greg. The links will be in the description, in Spotify, and in the comment section on YouTube. So, guys, go and check them out. Super Bowl Sunday is upon us. Make those bets for Super Bowl Sunday. And then again, we have the midst of the NBA still going on. We got NHL, which is actually going on a break this weekend for their Olympics. So if you guys want to start placing some big time bets, please check out the links. Go to Effortless Wins. I know Greg is getting ready for MLB season, which is also right around the corner. Spring training will be happening in a couple weeks. We know pitchers and catchers will report. I think it's on the 17th for the Guardians. And then everyone else will join in on like the 20th, 21st. And then you got spring training games literally that same weekend or a week after. And then we are right back into some baseball season. So once again, go to Effortless Wins into that into the comments on YouTube, description on Spotify. Go talk to Tony or Greg. And guys, go get yourselves some absolute money with those guys. Hopefully it's working. And no, damn. What happened to the mic? Yeah, it's almost like, yeah, there's still nothing coming out. We're gonna see if he can fix this situation. It's so weird how that just randomly happened that he cut out. But I don't know what's going on because it's still like dead silent. Do you have like a microphone on your headphones or something? Or like maybe you could just use your headphone microphones, and I might sound a little muffled, but it'd be Nope. There's still nothing. I wonder. Yeah, it's dead. Yeah, we'll see you guys.